Don't know what happened to the brother. He ran out on us, man. He got stage fright.
No, no. Hey,
Anyway, everybody, welcome to the Nomad Live Show. Um, I don't know if Nomad got snatched up by aliens or what, but hey, me and Shawn Sierra from SportsZone Chicago are here. So it's good to have everybody with us. And hopefully my brother will be back here shortly. That's the funniest thing that's ever happened. Shawn, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, my man. I am doing well. Thank you for asking. I'm excited to talk some Bears. Uh, I'm really excited, and there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on, and we're in the middle of lying season right now, so everybody's, when you're hearing a lot of one thing, I'm tending to believe the opposite. All right, and then you started seeing everyone talked about obviously the 800-pound, gorilla in the room is the Justin Fields situation. They're like, well, he's going to trade. He's going to trade. They're going to trade. They're going to trade. Reports, I'm hearing this. I'm hearing that. And everyone's talking about this. So I'm thinking, yeah, well, you know what? It is lying season. People forget that. All right. I personally think they're driving up the price. I personally think it's leverage. I personally think that they're staying with Justin. And I said it on my show a little while ago. I'll say it here. I'll say it again. Because I'm pro Justin, doesn't mean I think that Caleb's a child molester or a dog abuser. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I
I
haven't heard that one yet.
I can still want him to be successful. I just feel that Justin's the best guy to run this organization. All right. And so when people are in their feelings, and if you don't agree with them, then you need to burn in hell. And I'm like, guys, it's not that serious. I wish Caleb nothing but mad success. Dude, one of my best friends in college. I was talking with him last week. I'm still trying to get him on my show, but he's a teacher. He was his coach, his high school football coach at Gonzaga. He was the head coach there. So of course I'm going to want my buddy's former player to do well. All right. But there's a lot of other things that are going on. All right. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of maneuvering, jockeying for position. Because if you believe Ryan Poles, when he says, I want to build through the draft, and to this point, everything he said he wanted to do, he's doing.
Yeah.
So why would he not do this? And if he's true to this, build through the draft, what better way to build through the draft than getting another 2, maybe 3 first-round picks, maybe a second, and a player like he did last year? There's a lot going on. All right. Well, maybe Caleb doesn't want to come here.
Well, like you said, man, I mean, it's lion season, and there's just so much stuff going around, but the bottom line is if you think in terms of just logic, if nobody knows but Ryan Poles. If he knows, he may not even know yet what he's going to do. But these other guys, everything else is just conjecture and speculation. It strikes me as funny when I see these guys talk about, the consensus around the league. Well, you know what? There may be 31 other GMs that think that way, but the 32nd GM is Ryan Poles. As long as he, it's his decision to make. So, like you said, he's been true to his approach, and I just trust the dude. Hey, we got a special guest here today with us, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Nomad has joined us. I'm so glad that you could join us, Nomad. How you feeling today, brother?
Oh man, right as the intro was going on, man, I'm like, what the? Everything just froze up on me, man. And I'm looking at the router. I'm like, the router's not doing nothing. It just got bumped out. Yeah, but I'm sorry about all that, fellas, man. I apologize to you guys. Hey, welcome
man.
To the show.
Hey, ratings went up while you were gone. Surprisingly.
Hey, man, I can leave, man. Y'all can handle it.
I see, down, bro.
I see Shawn then hijack somebody's spaceship or something, man. And
I like it, man.
Hey, listen, this is the migrant crisis money that I got here, okay? I upgraded.
Man, you
just call me Brett
that?
Favre. Just call me Brett Favre. Don't worry about it. We're all good.
Hey,
how do I get in on that, man?
We'll talk off air. We'll talk
All
off
right,
air.
all right.
Hey, but I apologize again, guys, man. Welcome to the show, man. This is Nomad Live, all Bears all the time, man. Welcome one more time. Hey, but Shawn, I'm constantly on Twitter. Before we get into what we came here to talk about, I'm constantly on Twitter, just trying to do PR, you know what I mean, and just speaking my mind, man. And I'm learning, and I think I said this yesterday. Like, all you have to do is not say what people are so into whatever their alternate reality needs to be, and believing that anything outside of that really bothers them. And all I'm doing is saying,
Really bothers them.
yeah, all I'm doing is saying general stuff. Like I might say, like, what did I say yesterday? Or if there was any intention on bringing Caleb Williams in here, they'd hire Cliff Kingsbury. Oh my God, people lost their shirts, man. And it's just, I just don't understand how people became this fragile about a narrative not going their way. Because you want to believe something and ignoring the nose in front of your face, is that smart, or what are you doing to yourself? You know, it's a crazy time out there.
You know, and here's the thing. It's not that serious. You know, people are calling each other clowns, and you're an idiot, you're stupid, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, really? It's gotten the toxicity level has been crazy, and you know what? It's a lot of the younger people who it's the everybody gets a trophy group. You know what I mean? If you don't agree with them, you're wrong. You're wrong, and you're stupid. Like, come on, man. We can all have opinions. We can all have, and we don't have to agree, and that's cool. But some people, and the funny thing is as I'll say things on Twitter, I'm like, hey, that's cool. That's your opinion. They're like, nope, it's not happening. We're getting Caleb. I'm like, okay, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it. I respect it. I just don't agree with it. Why don't you agree with it? Like, I don't have to agree with it, dog. I don't have to. All right. I look at things differently. All right. Oh, and by the way, you guys like my shirt? Yeah, baby.
It's like their mind breaks if they can't think what they want to think. If that reality,
you have to believe like I do. You have to. You got to.
So here's my latest one, Shawn. I'm gonna quote you guys. This is for you guys. This is me. I said, this is me, and quote. You and I both know Caleb fans will be enjoying Mardi Gras on this app if Kingsbury was in Chicago. But since he was strategically acquired, his services at number 2, at the team at number 2, they're going to want to cancel the fund. Something like that. My phone is acting up now. But what I said was, they'd be celebrating right now if Kingsbury was the OC in Chicago. But since he's not, they want to spoil the fun for everybody else. People can see the writing on the wall, but you don't want to entertain that reality. And so you want to lash out at everybody. I'm telling you, it's easy to scroll past something you don't agree with. But you shouting at somebody else because you don't like that narrative, it's not going to make it go away.
No, it's not.
It's like, what are you thinking?
And if it fits your agenda, then it works, like you said. And let's not be closed-minded like most people are. You don't think that they're marrying quarterbacks and quarterback coaches or quarterback guys? Come on now. Why do you think he had a job, or I should say, he was pretty close to having the OC gig in Vegas until he withdrew his name? Why did he withdraw his name to go to Washington? He could have withdrew his name to go on anywhere else, but he went to Washington. Come on, man. There's so many things that lead you down a certain path. And again, you can play dumb if you want. You can play the fool if you want. But the one thing that we like to do, and especially on my show, and I know you as well, we like to educate. Like, let's call a spade a spade. We talk to, we understand. You guys got to understand. We mentioned it a million times ad nauseum. We've mentioned it. And if the NFL is about money, period, end of story. They're entertainment, and they want to make money. And what better way than bringing the home kid back to Washington? Like I said, like what it did to Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks, or the Blackhawks when they got Connor Bedard, or what it did for the Bulls when they got Derrick Rose. Think of why that worked. Ticket sales for Connor Bedard for the Blackhawks went up $8 million in 36 hours when they got him. Think of the ticket sales they increased when they got Derrick Rose. Think of the jerseys they got. Think of the sweaters that they sold when they got Connor Bedard. All these things matter. Coaching matters, but all those other things matter too.
Shawn, when you just back away from it for a second and think of it on its face in just common sense terms, and if you've see, I've been to both places, and if you've never been to Vegas, then it might not make much sense to you. But if you've been to Vegas and you think about that for a second, what rational person turns down an opportunity to have a luxurious job and a place in Vegas to go to Washington, D.C.? Who does that? I mean, if you haven't been to both places or just have an idea of what both places are like, nobody's turning down that Vegas job if they have options.
No, Vegas is dope, and it's a growing city, still growing. After the last 10 years, it's still growing.
And Mark Davis has been called many things, but cheap has never been one of them. He gave Gruden $100 million, so it wasn't the money. Don't ever think it was the money.
Man, if there was, I mean, and another thing is too, man, and coaches, I don't give a damn who you are. The NFL owners don't have a salary cap when it comes to coaches. They can pay them exactly what they want to pay them. Nobody's going to turn down a gig in Las Vegas with the way that guy spends money to go to Washington, D.C. Nobody. There's a strategic plan in place to get that number one pick, or he wouldn't be there, period, point blank. Whether they get it or not, whether they offer enough to get it, that's something we can argue and debate about. But with Magic Johnson being in that building and being the high roller that he is and the big deal swinger that he is, I know they're going to move heaven and earth to get this dude, man. So when you get tired of being mad at people for giving you the writing on the wall and yelling at people because they won't echo your narrative, then you have to look at it how it is. Look at it on its face and accept what this appears to be to everybody but apparently some of these people who can't get this Caleb Williams out of their heads.
And you know what? And that's okay. You know what? And the thing is, so all the people who talked about, well, Justin's a bum. I don't want you rooting for the Bears, man. You know what I mean? Like, because if you can't see the great things that you've done, okay? And believe me, I am not, nor will I ever, have I ever, absolve Justin from some of the things he needs to work on, okay? I'm not going to absolve him for overthrowing a guy in a dig, all right? Or missing a curl, or missing a deep out, all right? I'm not going to absolve him of that. He's got to get better, okay? But players don't develop themselves. Coaching matters. You need coaches to develop you. Otherwise, why do you have coaches? So yeah, Justin Fields plays a part in this, in his inconsistency in the first couple of years. But the biggest part is not on him. So when you see what Justin's done, and I ask everyone I've asked them on my show, I've asked them on Twitter, I'm like, name me one thing Justin can't do that any other quarterback can physically. You give me one thing that physically he can't do. All right, you've seen him throw the ball, rolling left, throwing right. You've seen him dropping dimes 30, 50 yards downfield. You've seen him with a fastball in between three defenders. You've seen him with humpback line drives over a jumping linebacker's head. You've seen all these things. You've seen him fake a screen and deliver it sidearm because a dude jumped to try and block it that went for a touchdown with Khalil Herbert. He can do everything. His problem is his inconsistency. That comes with the help of a good coach being consistent.
Shawn, all I know is don't you ever in your natural life raise that question on Twitter, because they will all 22 cherry pick the hell out of you, man. Look, they will.
And I got receipts too, because one of the guy who follows me, he goes, what can he do? He can't throw a screen. He can't throw he can't throw a screen. He can't throw a swing pass. He can't throw a deep seam. He can't throw a fade. So I responded. I said, I put a clip on there. I'm like, 12 seconds, he throws a swing pass to David Montgomery. This day he throws a screen to Khalil Herbert. This one he throws a bomb, a fade pass to DJ Moore. This one he throws a deep seam. Now what? So people want to come at me with the all 22, cool. And what's funny about it is that, when people say, well, I looked at the film, I looked at the tape, or I said, and I usually say, first of all, did you look at it, or were you following somebody, or did you watch someone who looked at it? Because if you watch someone who looked at it, it's very easy to cherry pick plays that shows his inefficiencies, mistakes. Very easy. And then you throw in one or two to say, hey, to make it seem like you're just like, okay, he did good on this one, but look at the other 10. So you're like, well, he's honest. He's just, no, you cherry pick. Everyone's got an agenda. You know how you do that? You got to watch every single play from a game, every single play. That's how you do it. You don't cherry pick, and you can't do it because otherwise you'd be on, if you ever watch film takes, as well as I do, how long it takes to break down one game. We're talking an hour and a half, 2 hours. If that, maybe even more.
Probably more. Depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, and so you can't do it with fans, with people who don't know. So people get their information from other people who have agendas. And they just overlook the fact that Justin's exciting. They overlook the fact that he's carried them with his legs. They overlook the fact that he had no defense. They overlook the fact that his defense gave up 33 points a game in that streak. They overlook the fact that in that 5-game stretch where he averaged 30 points with no receivers, with a porous offensive line, they were still 1-4. It's like, come on, man. It's all about perspective. What way are you going to look? You're going to look down and you're going to look at all the bad stuff and say Justin sucks, or you're going to look at this. And the biggest thing also, or not the biggest, but another big thing is people are willing to project what Caleb Williams can do. And he hasn't thrown an NFL pass. Well, he's generational. Well, how do you know he hasn't thrown a pass yet? Yeah, he hasn't taken a snap in the NFL. But you're not willing to project Justin who finally has a guy who can develop quarterbacks, but you don't want to project his ceiling
because you don't want to. And guys, what are we doing here? We're in here talking about Justin Fields again. Why? It's because the Chicago Bears, Ryan Poles, Justin Fields, and this whole prospect of Caleb Williams, and the idea of getting multiple draft picks, and the idea that you can get down to number 2 and get even more is the hottest topic in the NFL right now. There's really not a whole lot to talk about other than this next subject I'm going to bring up in a second. But it is the hottest topic out there. And so we would be remiss by not bringing this up again and addressing it. We got to bring it up every day for a minute. It's worth doing it because the conversation isn't going anywhere until a decision is made. It appears to be what we're saying it appears to be, but, they haven't made the decision yet. Not at least on the outside. They've probably done that on the inside, but I think he's doing it the right way, holding it on, creating suspicion, and building up the cash price, man. You know what I mean? Running it up. And so him not saying nothing yet, I think is the smartest thing in the world. Just let people think what they want to think. We know what we're doing on the inside. And what's going on, Chris? You got something?
Well, I put up King Book of World's comment because he's alluding to the fact that they say that the O-line was ranked 16th. And where are they getting these ranking from? Well, that's probably from PFF and the metrics they use, which, to be quite honest, they don't really mean a lot. I mean, it's not easy to quantify an offensive line's play. You kind of got to watch it and see and analyze it like you guys would do. So I do know this: when Tevin was playing, the O-line was better. So to break it down, when you saw Tevin play, that's when Justin, check out the games that Tevin played in, except for the last game, which was his worst game
in his career. My God.
Yeah, which was and guys, keep in mind, people keep pointing out that look at how he played against the Packers. Look how JF1 played against the Packers. He threw 16 passes the entire game, guys. He was 11 for 16. He didn't throw an interception. That was strictly a schematic failure on Getsy's part. So I just wanted to address that and get some stuff off my chest, man. I hate being backstage.
Hey, man, listen. I had a couple comments that were spoken to. Hey, you guys are doing a great job getting our subs running up, man, and we're attacking 1,000 real quick. We'll be there fast. And somebody mentioned I think it is I can't remember who mentioned it, but getting super chats. Anybody that wants to donate to the show and donate to the network and do that favor for us, you'll have that opportunity pretty soon. So if you have not liked and subscribed, please do so, man. We are really close to that goal of getting to 1,000 and beyond. But beyond that, hey, Shawn, let me ask you a question, man.
What's
I
up,
don't know
brother?
if I've mentioned this to you, but how do you know football games are it's a matchup. It's like a boxing match, and so
Mhm.
you would see a team's record, and that's one way to compare them. I think that's a faulty way to do it when it comes to a football matchup on that grass. What do you think the matchup looks like against Mahomes and this whole Frisco and Chiefs matchup? What do you think, man? Because I'm almost guaranteeing you're not thinking what I am.
I think this is a chance for both quarterbacks to really separate themselves and make a statement. All right, start with the baby goat they call him. Patrick Mahomes wins his third Super Bowl in 5 years. He's put in. If he's not, and if some people are reluctant to put him on that path with Tom Brady, you can't be reluctant anymore, because in his fifth season he's got three Super Bowls. Yeah, and he's gonna have. I mean, there's a lot of factors that are in play. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to have, Mahomes. Auto. I mean, Kelsey's gonna retire soon. He's 32. Um, you didn't get that Mahomes auto joke, the insurance. Anyway, commercial. Anyway, so he's gonna be. So who his receivers gonna be? Okay. So now he gets to step. He's already probably not probably. He's already the best quarterback in the NFL right now. So he can get him on the path. Like, okay, wow. Now you can start considering him going down the path of reaching Tom Brady. Brock Purdy, on the other hand, can really, if he has a good game, okay, he can really step out and say, I am a top-notch quarterback. I know I have weapons, but my job, and you call him a game manager, you can call him whatever. Okay. His job is to get, it's like any quarterback's job. You get the ball to your playmakers. He does. And if he's able to pull off a victory, man, he just made himself a lot of money, because when his contract is up and he got to renegotiate and he's got a Super Bowl ring in his pocket, he's like, yeah, add one more zero to that, or maybe two. So they both quarterbacks have. I'm looking forward to it, because I think the more that Brock Purdy relies on his superstars, okay, Debo, McCaffrey, Ayuk, Kittle, the more he relies on those guys, the better it's going to make him look. And I think Patrick Mahomes has to rely on himself, and him and Kelsey, him and uh, the kid from Vontez Scantling or Van,
Yeah,
him. All right, he can rely on Pacheco. I think as long as Patrick Mahomes, all right, really takes it on his shoulders, I think he can do it. But again, we'll see. Both defenses are pretty good. So we're going to find out.
So the first time whenever I look at a matchup, I'm a defensive minded guy, and I just totally believe that defenses will sustain you. They will motor that engine, and they will put you in position to win a championship. Defense does that. I know that's an old cliche term. Defense wins championships, but damn it, if that ain't the truth, I've never heard it before. And so I look at it from that standpoint first. First thing I point out to you is, number one, I think Detroit kind of exposed them a couple weeks ago. I think they got exposed. Detroit ran right at them.
Yep.
Right at the aggressiveness.
Yep.
You know, because they're very aggressive upfront defense. They really want to get downhill and try to attack the quarterback. But if you get under center and don't give them that opportunity and line up in big formations, which Kansas City, I believe, is kind of ahead of the curve a little bit, because since the playoffs started, they started getting into 12, 13 personnel, which is unusual for an Andy Reid coach team. And so strategically, I think they've figured out something. And they've got number one, I forget that running back's name, little jitterbug.
Pacheco.
Jerick McKinnon. No.
Oh, McKinnon. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Jerick McKinnon's coming back from he was on the IR for a while, and they get him back, and I think they're going to run right at them. And I think that, I'm telling you, if you go back and look at that Detroit game, man, they exposed them cats big time, man. I mean, that defense was they were leaking, man. And I think that's a bad trend going into a Super Bowl game. I think Kansas City's going to beat them. You know, I just wouldn't, just overall, when you look at the big picture, I never bet against a champion like Patrick Mahomes, man. Never.
Tough. It's tough. It's really tough. It's really difficult to do that because of what he's done. All right, because there was everyone complained about what can you say about him? Well, he never won a game on the road. All his games were always at home, and even every AFC Championship game was at home. Well, guess what? He went on the road. He went on the road in some hostile environments and won. So okay, so now you can't. That narrative's gone. Like what do you have? And it's a very difficult thing. This is why he's called the baby goat, because this guy is the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and it's tough to bet against him. It really is. But the way you're going to have to do it, and I think, you're talking to a former defensive coordinator, man, I'm beating the hell out of Kelsey. I am, if I'm like boxing one, bro, like I got one guy on him wherever he goes. All right. And I'll make Martez, Scanles, Valdez beat me. I'll make Pacheco beat me, but it ain't going to be, damn it, Travis, Taylor Swift, Kelsey. It ain't going to be that joker. He's not going to beat me. And what's going to happen? You get pressure up front, up in his face, and you take Kelsey out of the game. That I think is a great formula. I don't think it doesn't necessarily mean a winning formula, because if you don't hold Pacheco in check, we've seen that kid out of, was he Rutgers, runs hard, and he can take over a game too. So there's a lot. My best thing is pressure the hell out of him, Mahomes up the middle, and take Kelsey out of the game.
Hey, Shawn, I'll point. I know most people on the show don't get into it like I get into it, man. But when I see a good strategy against a great team, I start studying it and really like okay, so what happened was earlier in the season, the Browns faced the 49ers. And what was unique about what the Browns did, and it's on film, and teams get to look at this kind of stuff and figure out ways to stop this team, slow them down, and make them less effective. What they did is like create, because the 49ers, their biggest plays happen from within 0 to 12 yards in. So they're getting short stuff and they're taking off running on you. And what's going on is they're blocking it up well. So what the Browns did was they had like pretty much, it looked like if you looked at it, it looked like a 10-man box. It looked like a 10-man box, one deep, right? And so they just took everything short away from them and made what's his name, Purdy kind of sit back there and play quarterback. They was giving them nothing. I mean, and they just ran roughshod over these cats the whole game. They just crowded that box, put 10 down in front in that 10 to 12 yard space, and allowed nothing. And so I'm almost guaranteeing you, because in order to do that, you have to have the kind of corners that can match up and keep you in position to win reps. And I think probably the most underrated defense in the league, I think, is the Kansas City Chiefs right now. Those dudes ball, man. I mean, they ball hard, and they've got the corners to actually do that. I think they can actually make the 49ers look really bad Sunday. I really do, man. I think if they do what I have in mind, they may be thinking, man, they can make that team look really bad, man, and might not even be close.
I can see it going that way, but I could also see San Fran's defense stepping up as well. You saw that you saw the blueprint for stopping Kansas City as well. All right, they had their struggles throughout the year, and now, don't get me wrong, they're playing much better football now. Okay, but some of the things that they showed might not have been attacked by certain teams. They're good. Trust me. San Francisco has looked at, I can almost guarantee you, from not physically actually being in that building, I can almost guarantee you that they've looked at every single freaking game that Kansas City has played this year. And they studied the ones that they were not successful. I said, okay, why were they not successful? Let's do this. And then what they're going to do is say, okay, if I'm Kansas City and we start doing this and becoming successful, what are they going to do? What adjustments will they make? Because they have to make sure that when Kansas City makes an adjustment, they make an adjustment, and that adjustment has to be ready. Until it's going to be I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's a great team versus a great quarterback who makes things happen, and that's just how I see it, with San Francisco being the great team, and Mahomes obviously being the great quarterback who can literally carry the team on his back.
Okay, let's hit a pause because I want to introduce you to one of the favorites of the show called the Camel Toe Inspector, who is really Ghost of Booty Tribe. That's who he is. He's changed his name up and then penetrated the show again, and he's in there being negative, calling names and saying all kinds of foul stuff. So if you're gonna be in here at Booty Tribe, keep your language to a minimum, or we're gonna have to kick the Camel Toe Inspector the hell out of here next. So watch your mouth, man. You can be in here and hang out, but you ain't got to be vulgar, man. So, hey, I just wanted to, in case you hadn't gotten a chance to meet that guy, he's a troll, man. He just likes to. He's doing it to. He's got a platform where he just bashes Justin Fields. Like that's the platform. That's the message. Every time he goes on air was just to bash Justin Fields. So you can pay attention to him or just ignore that clown, whichever one you want. But let's get to what we came here to do, man. I'm I'm still a little pissed off, especially for DJ and TJ, DJ Moore and TJ Edwards, man, who I thought had stellar years, who after measuring the numbers, their stats against the competition, other than being being on the Chicago Bears and us not being relevant in playoff conversations right now, it's got to be the only reason why neither one of those guys, and Billings didn't have just knock you over numbers and nothing like that. But watching the games, man, he was so, you don't go from pretty much being last in the league against the run.
31st.
Yeah. And being almost last in the league against the run to being first in the league against the run without somebody. There's a proof out there that the personnel we have in the building knows how to pick them. And they went out in free agency and grabbed some guys and didn't pay them a whole lot of money and got great production out of them. And so this show, man, I just wanted to make sure we showed those guys some love that they didn't get in the national media. They didn't get the accolades I think they deserved. And we're going to show them some love on the show because I think to me, TJ Edwards is one of the top linebackers in the league. I don't give a damn who's talking. I'll argue with anybody about that. I think TJ does it all well. And for him, be just talking about him first, for him to be being drafted to a 3-4 defense and playing in a 3-4 defense the entirety of his career until he gets here and learning the concepts and the schemes and being able to play fast like he has and adjust it so fast, I think he doesn't get the credit that he deserves, because that's not easy. You're accustomed to a style of play and a scheme and the look that a 3-4 would present, to going to a 4-3, learning new stuff. I mean, it is absolutely incredible how well he played and how fast he picked it up and was effective for us.
Yeah, I really like what he did. And the thing about it is that he's done it so quietly. He's done it super quietly because there's so many times and you see him and you look up and you're like, oh, he made a play. Okay, cool. And all of a sudden, like, wait, he had 12 tackles? Oh, he had 14 tackles? He had 9 tackles? Like, he has just done everything quietly. And people look at Ryan Poles and they're like, well, you shouldn't have traded Roquan, this and this. Well, part of it, Roquan said he wanted to be traded. Okay. His contract was a little crazy. It was $100 million. And I'm all for players. You can go get your money, get it. All right. But for a little more than they paid Roquan, they got 2 backers. And TJ Edwards finished with more tackles than Roquan Smith, for all you stat nerds. Okay. And for a hell of a lot cheaper, like I said, for a little more than they paid Roquan, they got 2 starting linebackers, a middle and a Sam, and you're good. So, and I know Roquan made the Pro Bowl or All Pro. A lot of it has to do with reputation because Roquan's been a stud his whole career since he was here. But TJ Edwards, just because TJ Edwards didn't make All Pro or make the Pro Bowl, doesn't mean he's not a really good linebacker. Doesn't mean he hasn't been impactful. It doesn't mean that at all. It means they're limited by numbers. And when you're in a situation where you're not, I don't want to say loud and boisterous. He's just the kind of guy who goes about his business. All right. He keeps doing that. Trust me. There's going to be at some particular point, whether it be next year or the year after, there's going to be no way you can keep him off or keep him out of the Pro Bowl. He keeps putting up those numbers in the top 5 or so in tackles every year.
Man, He's if you can put that stat line back up there, Chris, that'd be great. Um, it's like the you see he had 91 tackles. What is that? 91 solo tackles,
Mm-hmm.
2.5, 2.5 sacks, one forced fumble, 3 picks. What that doesn't show you is pressures. Doesn't show you the assists. So he didn't. I'm telling you just by just evaluating the season in my head, I bet his numbers are astronomical in assists, and I bet you they're pretty high up there in pressures. People don't think pressures really count as far as the stat goes, but I'm telling you now that counts more and almost better than a sack when you can pressure a quarterback to get him off time and get him off platform and break his timing down a little bit and make him do something he wasn't planning on doing. But yeah, man, I mean that guy, I'm telling you, I think he quietly might have been the best offseason pickup. Period.
And what's really funny is that you're sitting there, and this is why, like this person here that you talked about, who's trolling in the chat, um, the
You can take
camel
it
toe
down, Chris.
inspector.
You
All
can
right,
take it down, Chris.
um, if let's just say if someone's willing to give up a number one pick for Justin Fields, how valuable is he? You, teams don't just give away number one picks. If someone, and here's the crazy part, what if there's gonna be more than one team that's willing to give up a first round pick? It shows what people understand. It shows that people know that Justin wasn't developed properly. It shows that Justin wasn't put in the right position to be successful, and that's cliche-ish as that is. It's the truth. Okay, because there was certain agendas, stubbornness. I don't know what the issue was with Getsy because I didn't talk to him. But Justin Fields wasn't put in the best position. And if someone's willing to give up a first round pick for him, it goes to show you how much they value him. I mean, who doesn't value him? Us. Bears Nation. You don't understand. You don't respect all the crap he had to go through. Sacked 9 times his first start on his the Bears employing the Swiss cheese offensive line his first year, then tearing down the defense, and he still was a highlight reel. And yes, he is not perfect. Yes, he misses receivers, but guess what? I'm going to tell you a little story. All quarterbacks miss receivers. They do. All of them do. Even Tom Brady, even Patrick Mahomes. So his consistency was the issue, and that was it. So why is Chicago media so anti-Justin?
I think you hit it, Shawn, and Chris. If you can grab the chat for me, I think you hit it, and I think it comes back to and my grandma used to say this to my uncles all the time. You better appreciate what you got, you ungrateful bastard. You can have nothing. You know what I mean? And I think it boils down to that. The fact that it's almost like kids on Christmas, man. You had great toys. I mean, you had great toys and you've had them all year, and all of a sudden, the new toy is out there, and you see that, and you just totally ignore. That's how these fans and the fan base is. I ain't gonna say everybody because apparently everybody doesn't feel that way. That's in this show and watch our stuff. They don't. I mean, the appreciation level is just like, what have you done for me lately? Like the dude. That's the part that really upsets me, man. I think it's how ungrateful people are and what that kid's had to go through and how he stood up to that with his chest out, chin up, didn't feel sorry for himself, didn't throw people under the bus. He absolutely took it on the chin and carried all of the weight that a quarterback, you're going to get everything when they win, but you're going to get it all when you lose too. And he's had to carry that the entire time he's been here in Chicago, and people have no respect for that. Why? Because they see some young gunslinger that throws incredible looking balls off platform, and he's a good looking quarterback, but he's just a good looking quarterback. And the prospects of someone, how do you ignore the opportunity to do exactly what you decided you wanted to do? Build through the draft, build a champion through the draft. How do you ignore all the opportunity that you have in front? This is a once in a lifetime opportunity he's going to get. And this is the chance that he's been waiting on. and you just want to just ignore all of that to get a quarterback that you don't really need. I mean, if you just think about it in that turn, in that way, then you realize how ludicrous this conversation is. It's
Luda.
absolutely ludicrous, man. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was just wanting to highlight what Keith Harris said. Uh, Justin is the most talented quarterback in Bears history, yet Chicago media wants him out. Why? And, it's something I've said before, man. I've been watching the Bears since the late 60s. Justin is the most talented quarterback that we've ever had. And I would say, as far as talent, I mean, he's even more talented than Jay Cutler because he's got Cutler's arm strength, but he's much more mobile than Cutler. And Cutler could run. So I just don't get it. A team and a city that's been so starved of a quarterback for so long, we now have a guy we can build around. Why do we want to get rid of him? I mean, the net gain. You're talking about net gain here. If you want to try to quantify it, you've got Justin, who's talented. Even if you want to compare him to Caleb, who's the most talented? Well, when you throw in all the draft capital that comes along with Justin, the net gain, there's no question that you're ahead if you keep Justin and trade the pick. There's just no question about it. So I just that's a good question and a good comment by Keith.
So I just know this.
Chris, we talked about it the other day.
Go ahead, Shawn.
We talked about it the other day. You could literally get 9 to 11 players from that first draft, the number one pick from last year's number one overall pick. 9 to 11 players or draft picks or players total. That's the whole side of a ball. And what we talked about yesterday was the fact that these are going to be first and second round players. And when you build a team, this is how you build a team, through first and second round. Yeah, you're going to get find some good ones in the third round. You find a diamond in the rough in the fourth or the fifth round. But you want the first and second round is where you build your team. And when you have, if this trade goes through, or when it goes through, in my opinion, it's going to. When it goes through, and you have 2 first-round picks this year in 24, 2 first-round picks in 2025, 2 first-round picks in 2026, not to mention the amount of second-round picks you get, or the player that we get. We don't even know who was going to be in that trade for that number one pick. How can you not? And here's the thing that people don't understand. There'll be another generational quarterback next year or in 26. And if for some reason Justin Fields doesn't work out, okay, you can package those first 2 round picks, those 2 first round picks to the team holding the number one pick and say, here's what we got. You can have them and go get your next generational quarterback. But I don't think that Justin Fields is going to fail because he finally has a person who can maximize his potential. That's all we've asked. And that's all you ask a coach is to maximize the player's potential. And a guy who's done it with guys who are far less talented than Justin Fields. And if he's able to continue to develop quarterbacks the way he has in the past, imagine what Justin Fields can do. Again, you want to forecast what Caleb can do when he hasn't done anything in the NFL yet. But you're going to overlook the passes and the plays that Justin Fields has made with his feet and his arm against other pros, not against college people, not against WAC schools, not against Big Sky schools, not against bottom-feeding Pac-12 schools or Pac-4, however many are left. But in the NFL, you're going to overlook those plays and say and move on from them. It just doesn't make sense to me, and that's fine. You can agree, you can disagree, and be on your side, on that side of the fence. Just I don't agree with it. I just think it's better that you build a normal team. And with Justin, I'm telling you, he has everything you need. Justin has everything you need to be generational. So let's, because everyone likes to use that word, and all you gotta do is help him. Justin saying, "Help me, help you," is all he's saying. Help me, help you. You know why? Because coaching matters.
Basically, But we're going to take a quick pause for a station identification. Then we're going to get back to this on the other side of it and explain to you guys why the Justin Fields conversation seems to be dominating this conversation. We're supposed to be talking about TJ, DJ, and Billings. But let's take a quick break and we'll get right back to it.
The best Chicago Bears content anywhere. Catch Nomad live pregame 1 hour prior to kickoff and Nomad at night postgame, and every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central on all the most popular streaming platforms, and only on the Nomad Network.
That's right, man. Please hit that sub and that like button. Hit those notification bells, man, because you just never know when we're going to bring some new content out. We're trying new stuff. We're getting in new time slots. We're giving you more content. And, you know, we might come out here on a whim, you know, based on what might be going on in a day. And you just need that notification bell hit, man. You need to have that thing remind you when we go live, man. But more importantly, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button, because if you want to really help this network along and donate and give us a boost and do us that favor, pretty soon you'll have that opportunity to do it, man. And I can thank you ahead of time right now, man, because I love you guys so much. Always being here and always being positive, optimistic, giving us the energy we need to do this content, man. And so why I stay fired up about it, while Shawn, Chris, and everybody else on the network, Ked, Samuel, Nick, everybody stays fired up about this stuff because of you guys. And so why are we here talking about Justin Fields? It's because I told you guys before, if the negativity and the ungratefulness is going to be at a certain level, I'm going to be stronger than that. We're going to be stronger than that. Our voice is going to be stronger than that. So that Justin Fields, his family, the people that love him, his teammates, everybody gets the opportunity to see this stuff on YouTube and on these different platforms. And that's not the only thing they get to look at. It's the negativity and the people being ungrateful about how hard Justin has worked his behind off here. There's at least some a content creator out here and a network out here that will fight like a dog to try to counterbalance that narrative. And so that's what we're here to do, man. I refuse to sit here silently and allow that to carry on day after day after day and not have a counter argument to that. And so us appreciating Justin Fields for what he's brought to the table, yes, you can trust and believe until the decision is made. Until the decision is made, we're going to come out here and we're going to rep for him. And that's just how I feel inside my heart, because somebody should. And that's the bottom line. That's how I feel about it. And I just want people to know that.
Shout out to Kids, man, in the chat too. Summer guy in there. Kids is in the chat, man. We got to holler out and shout out to our boy out there. He's either at work or he's probably not working at work.
You know, this is the one thing that, you know, you talked about being adamant about it. And here's why. Like, I don't care what draft evaluators say. Okay? I don't care. All right? I care what I see with my own eyes. Okay? I have I've been blessed to be in this game a long time, playing a long time, coaching a long time. All right. And I trust my eye over other people, especially people who haven't played. Okay. But there's also things that we know about things in the locker room. And that is one of the things that's not being talked about. So you can sit there and say whatever you want, and that's cool. Okay. But I understand that you're looking at it from your perspective, and I respect it. Just don't agree with it. All right. Because I know what I've seen. I know what people that I projected in the past who I think are going to be good, people who I don't think are going to be good. And my reputation or my ability to adjust and evaluate has been pretty good. Is pretty good. And I don't know. Maybe it's just being the teacher in me for 15 years. Maybe it's the coach in me for 15 years. Okay. That you see a guy's potential and you know it can be maximized. And when you do maximize a kid's potential, a young man's potential, with all the talent that this guy has, you've seen him on the big stage. You've
Hold on,
seen him in the college football playoffs.
Time out, Shawn. Hold on just 1 second. I apologize, but I had to do some unnecessary just now, man. I had to make Wraith of Judah tribe and the Camel Toe Inspector. I had to make him go stand in the corner like Snoopy. Stand your dumb ass in there for the next 10 minutes, and I'll tell you when to get out of there, all right? With your goofy ass. All right, but go ahead, Shawn.
So believe me, there are people who are talking about Mac Jones being the best quarterback coming out of the draft, and I'm like, yeah, I don't agree with you because he's not. All I'm saying is what's wrong with us developing a quarterback? You said it before, Nomad. We finally got a guy who can do it. We finally got a staff who can do it. We finally have a staff who has developed quarterbacks. So the one thing that we've all talked about with Justin Fields is he hasn't been developed properly. Well, now we got guys to do that. Now we have guys to do that. And now you're like, oh, let's get rid of him. Whoa, why? So you got the thing you need to unleash this guy and make him a top 10 quarterback, to make him one of the faces of the league. And you're saying, yeah, let's get rid of him. To me, that doesn't make sense. Let's draft and develop our own talent. We have the people to develop. We've drafted him. We have the people to finally develop him. And now you want to get rid of him? Come on, man. Now you're acting crazy. And do me a favor. Make sure you follow SportsZone Chicago too. It's the collabo that I'm doing with Nomad and the Nomad Network. And you know what? We're both passionate about what we do and our Chicago Bears. So make sure you like SportsZone Chicago's Facebook page, like our YouTube page, Instagram, Twitter. You like it all. We're going to bring you this content. Nomad and I are going to be doing this, and again, I don't care what people say. I don't care what Adam Schefter says. I don't care what this guy says on TV. I don't care what Shady McCoy says. I trust my eyes, and in my years of coaching and playing. All right. And I have a lot more hits on people that I think are going to be good in the NFL than misses. So I'm trusting. I know in my heart that I just know that Justin Fields is going to do something phenomenal next year if they keep him. Because again, that's out of my control. But if they do, watch how crazy this guy is going to be.
What do you do when you have a quarterback that's being, a little bit mishandled, a quarterback that's not really getting to the, to the status that he needs to get to, but has all the potential in the world? What do you do with a quarterback like that to elevate him and to get him where he needs to go? What do you do, Shawn? What do you do? You add the supporting cast around him. Immediately, what happened when you put DJ Moore on the team? See what happened. Immediately, when you focus on Cole Kmet and have him be a viable weapon in the offense, boom, you see what happened. Immediately, when they start beefing up this offensive line and getting depth there and getting studs on the edge, well, they got one stud on one edge. I think possibly, man, we're going to talk about this on another show, but I believe that I'm just guessing, man, but I feel like I think it's a good guess. I think they may be entertaining the thought of putting Darnell Wright on the other side. I know everybody gets upset whenever I say this because it's like, oh, we've seen too many guys been moving around and that's messing everything up, the continuity and all that stuff. I get that. But, and then there are other people that say that Darnell Wright is a right tackle. We need to leave him there. And he can't play left tackle because he didn't look so good when he was in college doing it. I beg to differ. I went and looked at the tape hard. Darnell Wright is absolutely left tackle capable. I can promise you that. And I will say this again to anybody that didn't watch the shows of me saying this. If you think I'm kidding you, go back and when they faced their stiffest competition in 2021, when Darnell Wright was a little bit smaller, he was a little bit leaner back then, but he was in 2021, he played left tackle for the season. The only reason he ended up on the right side was because of injuries. Natural fit on the left side. And he absolutely dominated Alabama that year. Dominated them. What's 31's name? What's number 31 that ended up going to the Texans?
You talking about Will Anderson? Yeah, he swallowed him up.
Kicked his ass and everybody else that came after him.
Dude, he handled Max Crosby with one arm this year. One arm. If you watch that tape, and when I went over it, when I saw him, like, wait, he's not even using. Was it his right arm that was messed up? I don't remember if it was right or his left arm. I'm like, he's not even using both hands. And this is Max Crosby, who's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. And this dude is handling him with one arm. I'm like, holy jeez. And I went back and watched it a couple times and like, let me make sure that I'm not just seeing stuff because I love the Bears and I want something. It's not hyperbole. And I'm lost. I'm like, holy jeez. He's blocking Max Crosby with one arm. Come on, man. Come on.
Well, I just put it to you like this, man. I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but I like the idea of, because this draft is so right tackle heavy. I've said this a number of times, and I believe people are starting to see exactly what I mean. The right tackle talent is so much thicker in this draft than the left tackle talent, that even if they don't get the pure left tackle that they think they may be looking for early in the draft, there is opportunity a little bit later on, a little bit further down that board, to get a solid right tackle and flip Darnell Wright. I know it's not a popular conversation. I know that guys don't get on me, don't kill me in the comment section, man. But I think if you studied the game that I'm talking about, if you just want to look at one game in particular, go to 2021 Alabama versus Tennessee, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about.
Ate him up. Yep, I watched that tape. You know, and see, and here's and this is the cool part about it, is like me and Nomad don't agree on everything. Like I still say keep him on the right side, move Tevin to the right side, and move Nate Davis to the left side. I know, because I want that strong side. I want Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Wright on the same side. Now, if you move them to the left, cool, fine. They're both on the left. I'd want them both on the right. And listen, on 3rd and 1, on 4th and 1, where the hell we're running the God-blessed ball? Try to stop us. Those two dudes are extremely nasty. And I'll tell you what, locker room and talking to those guys, Darnell Wright's one of the nicest guys in the. I mean, he's he's still young. He's still a little wet behind the ears, obviously. But man, he's been nothing but nice to me when I go in and ask him questions. Tevin Jenkins, nothing but nice to me. And you see those dudes on the field. Dude, we've all seen Tevin Jenkins take guys off the field to play. And he plays to the echo of the whistle. Dude, those are the guys you want. I played behind offensive linemen like that. I loved it because you knew. Now, he had the bad game in the last game of the season against Green Bay. We all have bad games. But you look at his whole body of work when he was healthy, man, that Joker's blocking dudes. He's pancaking dudes. He's falling on them like you ain't getting up. He's knocking people down, going to the next dude blocking. This dude, those two on the same side of the line is going to be a freaking problem. And you add 12 personnel or 13 personnel, probably 12 because now you still got Carter Blasting game, or 22 personnel. Man, with tight ends, with that strong side, come on, man. This is a recipe. Because now what are you going to do? You're going to stack the box? Well, guess what? Guess who can beat you with his arm? Justin Fields.
I like this comment by Mike Davison, man. Because we got to get out of here, man. Mike Davison says, I'd rather draft Fuaga and flip him to left tackle. The only concern I have is if he flipped it in his mind. I like that comment, Mike Davison, because I've actually pondered that. And when I think about tackles having to, maybe be going to another side and learn a new technique, I think the most important thing you got to have when you do that is the feet. Footwork. You got to have the foot. If you got the foot quickness, it's going to make up for a lot of your shortcomings. If you got foot quickness to be able to catch when you lose, get yourself back into the play when you lose. Fuaga has got some of the best feet I've ever seen in an offensive tackle that big. I've never seen a guy with that. I mean, his feet are outstanding. I mean, they are so butter quick, man. I mean, I can go on and do a show about how over the moon I am about Talise Fuaga, because I really think he's a stud. But we'll get into that in another show, man. I would like to thank you guys for coming. But before we get out of here, Shawn, you want to give any shout outs before we wrap up the show?
Yeah, I want to thank all the people that are in the chat. people who came over from my network and support me all the time, and I appreciate it. People from Nomad's network, I appreciate it. Um, we're going to continue to give you content, and I'm telling you, we're adamant about our stance because we trust our eyes. All right, we trust our eyes with the experience that Nomad has had in his football career, with the experience that I've had in my football career. To tell me who is generational, who's this, who's that, I can tell. All right, and I'm unapologetic about it. So again, thank you guys for supporting us. Thanks for coming on in the middle of the day. Whether you're lunch, whether you're at home, or do whatever, we appreciate the love and the support. And that's the cool part, is that we do this because a lot of you guys are tired of national media. A lot of you guys are tired of the local media, who everyone's just jumping on stuff. A lot of you are tired of people who just regurgitate in what they're hearing from other people who don't really know football or have an agenda, and you want to hear something real. We'll keep it real for you, and we're not coming from this is what I think because I saw or someone said. No, we're not telling you, well, this is what this guy said, this is why. No, we're telling you what we believe because of our experiences, and that's why it's real, not because such and such said it or such and such said it or he wrote this or he wrote that. It's because we trust our eyes, but with the vast experience that we've, and we don't need anybody else. We don't need anybody else to tell me who's generational, who can do this, who can do that. So boohoo to you, Wrath of Judah tribe. Thanks for coming. I'm glad you're still juvenile, and that's okay. That's cool.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you something, man. If you're one of those people that are negative in spirit, negative in mind and soul, and you just intend on, because you just want this one thing to happen, and you can't shake that out of your mind. If you want to just disrespect and discredit Justin Fields for everything he's gone through and put up with and brought you, to the Chicago Bears, I am your worst damn nightmare. I am your worst damn nightmare, because I
Hey,
ain't gonna let.
Nomad,
What's that?
I think you smacked the wrong person.
Oh, did I?
Yeah,
Yep.
AC Adam.
My bad.
AC, we're sorry. We got a guy that's got a greasy trigger finger over here.
My bad. I'm just trying to. If you're gonna come into the chat, Booty Tribe, man. If you're gonna come into the chat, say a couple of things, man. Don't be spamming up the chat and don't be vulgar, man. I do not mind you coming in here and having a difference of opinion, and even if you want to talk a little smack, that's fine. I ain't got no problem with it. I could easily just kick you out of here, but it's cool. But don't be vulgar and don't just keep spamming the chat all up and messing it up for everybody else. I'm gonna have to kick you out of here, man. So yeah, with that being said, man, I just want to thank you guys one more time and appreciate you guys for all the support. Hit that like and subscribe on the way out the door if you have not, and I appreciate you guys ahead of time. So before we get out of here, I got to leave you with these famous words: love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.